Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Azure training program. And we are in second session of the training program, and uh, this would be about uh, not only theoretical. I don't want to do it like the previous batches, so I'm just thinking of what I will do today is I will try to explain to you 30 minutes of session for the theoretical part, and we will go and create a storage account today. So we will kind of cover two things today. One, we will try to discuss differences and try to understand what is the use of on-premise systems and what is the uh, cloud systems and the storages and how the compute is being provided from the cloud providers which we are using is Azure, and we will try to create a storage account that would be the blob storage, and I will show you what are the steps required, and I will introduce you to the environment of Microsoft Azure, how to log in and how to uh, 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 just to browse through the environment. So rather than keeping it more theoretical, let's go with a bit of practical. So it will be easier for you to understand. One thing I want to mention here to everyone is that please, when you are trying to create a lab or something, or when you are trying to practice, do your practice session, create your environment, and delete it after that, unless and until you think this is something required and I have done some kind of exceptional work which has to be saved for a period of time, or you want to continue. So once you are done with your lab, delete all the resources. The reason being, the next day when you are going to create the lab, you need to deploy all the resources, which will make you will give you more practice. So rather than creating the same resource, rather than creating the same one resource at one time, you will have the practice of deploying those resources in the Azure environment multiple times. So what happens is it will make you more practical way. Enough with that. So let's move on with our session of the class. So today's session, we will just try to understand. Yesterday, we have discussed many things like what type of data and what type of processing of the data is being done. So now let's try to understand something different from a part of this. So this is all good. Real-time data is coming on, like batch processing we are doing, and everything is good. But for today's session, let's try to understand a different concept, like why cloud? Why not? Why not the on-premise? So why the enterprise are preferring cloud? So let us say I am a business, so X business, okay. So I have a I have some kind of a retail store. Like let us imagine I have a supermarket. Okay, I have a supermarket which is having 15 counters. Let's imagine it's a D-Mart. Okay, many people have visited D-Marts or any other supermarkets. So what's happening is once the materials come in, like I have bought 100 materials. So that 100 materials, before they get into the store, I have to create some kind of details like name of the product, type, and quantity. Okay, quantity. Maybe making it simple, price. So there will be more than this, but I'm just giving you a typical example. And to do this now, mm, I need to have some kind of place to store this data. So I cannot just put one computer, 15 computers, 15 counters, 15 computers, and installing everything in one computer and everything. This is all connected to one place, and this will be connected to a server where this infrastructure or everything which I have to maintain. So the on-premise is something we can see, we can touch it, and we can use it for our needs only for that part. But the reason is we have to the backlog is we have to maintain it. Okay, maintain it. We like when I say maintain, what's maintenance is like we have to provide electricity, we have to provide the cooling systems, we have to provide uh, with a good manforce, or the with good manpower, where the person or the who is responsible for the system will maintain it, will update it, will check for the errors, with will debug it and everything. These all things comes under maintenance. And maybe your business increased, so you want to use the you want to maybe I have a flash sale in my supermarket. What happens is then my servers are not enough, my compute or the my infrastructure which I have built is not enough. Then what I will do, I will buy new infrastructure. So I have to buy new infrastructure. So what does it mean? Today I have an infrastructure. mm, Typical example, don't go into the technicalities, which can handle 100 items at one time. Okay, okay. So this will be a problem for me. This will be a problem for me if people are coming because of the offer which we have kept on the offer the day. So like I have to process 300 items at one time. Okay, because the sale has increased. So to do that, my infrastructure is not good enough. So I have to deploy this again. I have to bring some kind of maybe some kind of compute, and I have to increase the scale of my systems. So this is kind of a hectic job, because today I have a sale. That's the reason I need such kind of power, compute power. But tomorrow when the sale ends, again I will come back maybe 100 or 50 items at one time. So the infrastructure which I have deployed for processing 300 items per at one time now is being only used for 50 items. Maybe I can shut it down, but the problem is I have already spent some kind of investment on that thing. So it's kind of a loss. So, so maybe this is the same thing. Let's imagine the same on-premise thing is done to Flipkart, or the same Amazon websites which we use for the retail group. They have the big billion day sales and these things, right? So they are expecting maybe 100 people will log in at this time. So what they will do is like they cannot bring the infrastructure and build the infrastructure at the same time and not use it. Maybe next year again, for the next year big billion day sales, they want to use this infrastructure. So the time, the one time they are using, it's good, but the next time you are going to keep it ideal, it doesn't make sense. So on-premise storages or on-premise infrastructures are maybe cheaper, but it is not cost efficient when compared to the cloud. So let's understand the same example now using cloud. So what happens when I am using cloud is I am taking the services of Microsoft. Okay, now the Microsoft services, what I have told, I have already initiated. So I get the power to scale my systems. So what happens is I have 100 items. I am taking the services from Microsoft Azure, which I can do the 100 item per one time. But as I know, today, maybe 14th of June, there is a sale. So I told Microsoft, hey, Microsoft, I need to scale my system. I don't need to tell anything. I just need to do these things by myself. I'm scaling my systems, increase by 30% of the previous infrastructure I have. Okay. So what happens is I will give it a time limit, or what I will do, I will come back manually once the sale has ended, and I will again decrease those systems. I will rescale those systems back to back to original. So now in this case, what happens? Just try to understand. In this case, what happened is when there was a need, I upscaled my system. when the need has ended, I have rescaled my system back. So I am in control of the infrastructure, or I am in control of the computational power I'm getting to run my business. So my business, the end point is my business should not stop because of this thing. So I have to cover up this thing. There are different things, but we are trying to understand from the sorry, from the data engineering point of view only. Okay. Any questions here, like how and why we are using this kind of on-premise systems and cloud computing differences? Any questions here? Okay, awesome. So now moving forward, so how the we know the processing of the data. Now let's understand how the data is generated. We are seeing like I have gave you some examples like different we are most of the data is generated by web applications only. So from the Internet of Things. So let's imagine yesterday we have taken some examples of Flipkart and banks. So retail sector is one of the sector where the data is generated, and banking, financial sector, not call it banking. Financial sector is one of the place where the data is generated, and travel domain, travel, like when you book your bus tickets, train tickets, or your flight bookings. So travel bookings is also one of the kind of data is generated. So now let's understand, when we are saying data is being generated, data is being generated, we know how often it is going to get processed. But let's try to understand how or what format it gets generated, and what kind of data what kind of format of the data you people will be dealing with when you are working in the real time. So the uh, types of data would be one, files, which is a semi-structured. Okay, there are three types. Yesterday, when we kind of went into the graph, the variations and the modern data problem, you could have seen unstructured and semi-structured, and the third one would be structured. So most of the cases, the data would be generated in unstructured or semi-structured only. So let's discuss about this thing. So when we say semi-structured data, I'm calling about CSV files, JSON files, Parquet, Avro, Excel, what else? ORC, what else? Delta, delta or files, as well as they are also, they come in under the same as the Parquet format, because they use the snappy compression. So every file has its own. So it's a typical files which which we generate, or the type of data which we receive when we are working in the cloud computing. Okay, when we are working in the Azure environment, let's not use the term cloud computing. When we are working in the Azure environment, so how can I move forward on this, is like uh, we know now we have the data. So how the data comes in, and where we have to save it, and what kind of storages are available to save. Let's say I want to save a I want to save a video of my birthday. So what I will do, I will record it on my mobile, and my mobile has the storage of maybe 128 gigabytes. So I'm storing it there. Okay. Then I decided, let me because of the less memory which I am having, let me transfer this file into a flash drive or a hard drive, whatever it is. So these are the on-premise solutions, and you are familiar with saving this data into these things. Now, what are the solutions which Microsoft offers us to store the data, and what types of formats it accepts? Okay, so maybe in your flash drive, you can save any kind of format. So you can put some files, videos, or whatever it is. But the same thing can be applied to the storage accounts in the cloud or not. If it is, and what types of storage options we have. and what is the basic things we need to create the storage account. So that would be our lab today, to uh, create the storage account online. Create the let's go with the blob storage, because the reason being there are two storages. One, what we have, the two storages today in the Azure is blob, and one is Gen2. There is a slight difference and improved security in Gen2. This is a second version of the blob storage. So you have additional capabilities. So all these things we will try to understand when we are moving forward in the labs. But today we will create a blob storage. So the online account, when I'm saying when we are going to create in the Microsoft, is that would be our blob storage, where to understand the data lake architecture, the lakehouse architecture, we will go step by step. We will understand what is blob storage. Maybe tomorrow we will understand how to move files from one blob in the same blob storage. And on the next session, I will give you the drawbacks of blob and the capabilities of Gen2. So in this way, and in the meantime, we will also build two pipelines. Tomorrow we will build one pipeline, and on Friday also we will build one pipeline. So you will have uh, some kind of information to do some practice on your weekend list. So let's move on with our blob storage. So the blob storage is a place where I can upload anything. Maybe I will upload video. Maybe I will upload audio files. Maybe I will upload all the files which we are coming in a semi-structured format. So to do that, I need to create a storage. As I said before, I need to transfer a video to flash drive. So I need a flash drive, right? I cannot imagine I have a flash drive on my left hand and just, okay, just transfer. That is not going to happen. So in the same scenario, when I'm coming to the Azure portal, or when I'm going to work with the Azure environment, I need to have some kind of storage options. So let's first try to understand how your Azure environment looks like, and how you have to log in, and where you have to go to create your storage account. So the general URL would be portal.azure.com. Okay, this is your URL for logging in. There was one one instance where one of the person got a question, where you will log in into Microsoft Azure. So it's kind of a silly, but it's kind of something where people ask some kind of different typical questions in the interview. I don't know where these people come from, but at least okay. So there is some things, when you log in, you can look at it, the dashboard, and these things are where you can deploy the resources and everything. So we will not go there, because let's not confuse with the total type of resources we have. Rather than I will show you how to deploy the resources. What we need is a storage account. So we will just try to type storage account. So you will get the storage account. Okay. Now you can, do you see any kind of storage accounts right now here in my workplace? No, because I have not created any. So now let's create a storage account. Just click on create, and you will be redirected to this page. Now, these are some things which we will try to understand and discuss in detail, because this is very important from the interview point of view, as well as understanding your storage or understanding your infrastructure. Because when I buy some hard drive, I will understand what is the computational power of the transfer speed, and the memory, the price, and everything. I will try to learn the same way. When you are this is new for some people, so let's try. I will give you the brief introduction and the brief things, and we will try to understand what is the need of providing this information, and what are this information used in the backend or the front end, or we will understand why this information is required when creating the storage account. Okay, so first things first. So Azure Storage Accounts is a managed service provided cloud storage that is highly available, secure, durable, scalable, and redundant. We will deep dive into the concept of redundant today, because that's how you are creating the storage account, but where is it going to go and get stored, and what type of backup policies or the secure or availability Microsoft Azure provides us when we create the storage account. So that's what we will try to understand. First thing, when we are going to create a storage account is we need to provide something called subscription. We are on a free trial, so we will be giving the free trial subscription. If anyone has a pay as you go subscription, they can use it. And now we need to create a resource group. So what is this resource group is, this is a group where you will have your all the items. Today I'm creating one storage account. Maybe tomorrow I have a need of creating another storage account. So it is a uh, let me give you some kind of picturing representation, so it will be easier for you to understand. So this is my resource group. So under this resource group, I may have different resources. I have a storage account, okay, which is a blob storage. I have a data factory. Sorry, I have another storage, which is a Gen 2. I have a data factory, okay. Uh, so the Azure Data Factory, which we use for processing. I have a SQL database. So these all come under this resource group. Okay. The the reason the reason for deploying all this under one resource group or using the concept of the resource group is, if I have a new employee joined in my company, let us let us say I have a new engineer joined in my company. So if I want to control his access, or if I want to give him the access, what I can do is I will just go and give him the access to this resource group, or give him the appropriate permissions to the resource group, or I will configure it in that way that whenever I add something to this resource group, then he will or she will have the access to all the services present under that resource group. Again, the finite graining and these things come later, but a typical understanding of creating the resource group is, it will come under one tree. Different resources will come under one tree. Clear? Any questions? Why we are creating a resource group? Okay, rise underscore RG is our resource group. So I'm just giving a typical name. You can give whatever the name you feel suitable for. Now, what is my storage account name? So I need to give a name to my storage account. So let us say I will give rise only, and let us see it is taking. No, the it will not get taken because of the already the name. Like, let us say I will type storage only, and I am moving forward. If I do a validation here, it will fail because it should be a unique thing. You see, the name must be unique across all existing storage account names in Azure, not in your resource group, not in your uh, Azure portal, but in all the portals across the Azure. So it will not be available. So let me do one thing. Let me write rise blob, which is a blob storage, and I will go with the naming standard using a date hierarchy of 14 of June, 1406. Okay, clear? Now, I need to specify what region I am going with. So what region is, choose the Azure region that right for you. I will give you in simply in English. So what it will be is, Azure has many data centers. So as we will deep dive in a bit about that redundancy and locations and the regions. But so whenever you are creating this account, storage account, there should be a physical infrastructure. Okay, you are not maintaining, but at least Microsoft Azure has to maintain it, right? So where they are maintaining is, they have something called data centers located in different data regions across the world, not in India, not in USA, or not in a specific country. They have different regions. See, these are all the regions that they have deployed. They have created the data centers in different regions. So I can use any region. Maybe in India, there is one region, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, West India. This is the only region available in India, but there are many additions or whatever. This okay, South is also there. Sorry, West and South India are the two regions. So we can go with the nearest region to the place where our data is residing. The reason being, whenever you are trying to interact with the storage account which you have created, if the storage account is not in the nearby location, there will be a bit of latency of pinging or getting back to your data. Understood? Any questions here until now? So what is the how we are going moving forward with the storage account name, the region? Any questions on the region? Okay. There is a performance. We have two things, standard and premium. So we will go with the standard only. Nothing, not to worry about. The premium gives you low latency, but we are not in need of that. Yeah, this is one what I was thinking to talk about. In the standard, you have two types of redundancy. One is we will talk a bit. We will talk a bit more about this redundancy once we deploy the storage account. Local redundant storage, geo redundant storage. But when I go for the performance of premium page blocks, but redundancy should have. Okay. The redundancies are. I think we don't have that kind of redundancy here. Let me go with a different region. So to check if I am having the redundant option here. Yes. The reason I was not getting this kind of redundancy options is I have chosen that region. That region only supports two redundancy, which is in India. But the West US, when I'm going for this, there are four options. Just try to remember this, and I will explain to you in a bit that what are the redundancy options. We have LRS, local redundant storage, geo redundant storage, zone redundant storage, and geo zone redundant storage. So I'm going with the local because of the costing issue. So once it is done, we will move to the next advanced option. So these are all the security features that are available, and we don't need to change anything at this point. There is something newly introduced before a period of time. We can even integrate our SFTP servers uh, across the storage accounts. So it is a kind of a cool feature. So apart from this, there is something called access types. We will also discuss about this in the next session. So for right now, let's go for directly review and create the storage account. Okay. So that it's running, it runs the validation. So the meaning of this is it go and checks in the backend, is this subscription, this user with so and so is available, is eligible to create this storage account name or not. We're using this storage account name and this kind of redundancy, is it eligible or not? That's what it tries to understand. Now just let click on create. Our validation is successful. So let's what happens is it deploys the resources. So once it is deployed, we will have the access to the storage account. We will once we will look at the storage account, then we will go and understand what is the redundancy and how the data is being stored, and what are the options that Microsoft Azure provides us. It is also one of the most important things to understand, and one of the asked interview questions is how many redundant story types of redundancy we have when we are Microsoft Azure provides, and what's the key difference between them. So just I will explain to you in in a deep dived manner, so you will be able to answer that question. Let the deployment get finished. Let's wait for a minute. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, the deployment was successful. Now, now let me click on go to resource. So let me click to resource. So this is how my storage account looks like. So to browse, let me directly go into the container. This is where we store it, but we will also understand different things about data migration, overview, activity log, and everything in the upcoming classes. So to store something, I need a place. So I don't have a container. So let me quickly create a container called Rise. Okay. See, I have the permissions and I can give the public's access by control the access as well. So let's not get deviated. So I can create a container. Once the container is created, now what I can do is I can simply click on an upload button. I want to move some files because this is I'm showing you because uh, in real time scenarios you will not be uploading files from your computer. I have never seen that, but instant or two, but that will not be the case. 99% that will not be the case. The data you have to pull from the source and copy it here. Just we don't have a source. That's the reason I'm uploading some files. So I can browse for a file. Um, let me upload a CSV file. Let me upload a CSV file. So dbo.customers. So let me upload this. This is a CSV file. I'm just clicking on upload. Done. You have the file available here. So that is how your storage account and your files look like in the cloud storage of the Microsoft Azure. Once you click on that, you will also have some options of snapshots and edit. Once you click on edit, you can even look at the data. See, there is some kind of data on this. So and I am able to see the data here as well. That's how one can create a storage account and upload the data and you create container inside that. So what all topics we have covered is we have created storage account, we have created a blob storage. Two, we have created a container. Three, we have uploaded a CSV file. These are the three things we have done today, right? Any questions here? Like I'm just pointing it and based on some summary because maybe when we have creating the storage account or something, you may have some kind of questions arise. So you can ask me before we move to the next part of today's session in the class. No questions? Awesome. So let's move forward with the presentation. So what we try to look at it is we had something called redundant storage. Uh, the redundancy option provides us with four types of redundant options. So what is this means actually? What is the redundance and what are the types of redundance? Is first one is local redundant storage, which is LRS, which is the basic way of storing your data into your blob storage. One, I have uploaded a file right now into my blob storage, right? Using LRS because my storage account has the LRS technique in the backend. So whenever I upload something, this data is getting stored in the West US of the data center US region, but with the technique of LRS. So what is this LRS mean? So this is my storage account. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Maybe I have the option. So, okay, this is my storage account, right? So this storage account now I have created in the West US Center, and the US Center is where in the US. Okay. Now, when I have stored one CSV file, what happens is the data you replicates your storage account three times within the single center in the primary region. So whenever we are creating a storage account and uploading the data, what Microsoft Azure does here is it creates it creates three copies of our data: one, two, and three. The reason is it wants it don't want the business or the uh, customers to face any issues or any liability of using Microsoft Azure. So they are maintaining the availability of the data using this LRS technique, which is the basic one. Okay, this is the first option which we have understood. Local redundant storage is the LRS is whenever you upload the file in the same data center, our data gets copied into three copies. Understood? Clear? Can I move forward?
Yes, Jamal.
Next, next thing, next thing. So next is my presentation structure. Yeah. Next one we had is zone redundant storage. Now I have a West US region. So let's not go to the US. Maybe I have a South India region. Okay. My data center, whenever I'm creating a storage account, I have used South India. And now in the South India, what I have done is uh, in the South India, what I have created a blob storage. Okay. But in South India, Microsoft Azure has three data centers. Let's imagine it is showing the region when creating the storage account as South India. But under South India, it has three different data centers again. One in Hyderabad, one in Chennai, one in Bangalore. So what happens when you choose the zone redundant storage is it replicates your storage account only directly. This time it is not replicating your data. Last time what it was doing in the same data center with the same storage account, but it is making three copies. This time when I am using the zone redundant storage, it replicates your account across three Azure available zones in the primary region. Each available zone is separate physical location with independent power, cooling, and networking. Simple English, I have created a blob storage and I uploaded one file in the south part of India. Now, what Microsoft Azure does, because I have adopted for zone redundant storage, what Microsoft Azure does in the backend is it replicates the same storage account in Hyderabad, in Chennai, in Bangalore. God forbid there is some kind of disaster. Let's imagine there is tsunami or something in Chennai, everything went down. Okay, my primary region was Chennai, my data was there, but now because of some disaster happening there, now the data is getting the data center has gone down. So in that case, there is two more copies, one in Hyderabad and one in Bangalore, because you see separate physical location with independent power. The power which is going and powering the data center is different, the cooling systems is different, the networking is different, so everything is independent. There are not these three are not interlinked in any way in the sense of storing the data. But of course, Microsoft Azure is a centralized way of moving the data, providing the service, so it doesn't give you uh, the meaning of not centralized, but these three are independent. So whenever you opt for this and whenever you upload a copy of your data, that file will get in three different regions. Understood until here? Can I move forward? Zone redundant storage and local redundant storage. Local redundant storage, what happens is in the same data center, your file make will get copied into three different copies. So whenever there is a problem with something, it will get the different copy. So for you, it's the same file, but for Azure, from where it is bringing in the backend, that matters for it. Okay, but in the zone redundant storage, the file and the storage account gets replicated in three different available regions in the primary region which you are selecting. So if I am selecting Australia, it will do what it will do is it will find three available zones in the Australian region, nearby zones, and it will create three copies of your storage account. So whenever if there is a disaster or something happened in one storage account, maybe there was some power grid failure and the data center went down, so you were, as a customer or as a data engineer, you will be getting the data because you have stored it in two more different locations by using adopting for zone redundant storage. Understood? Any questions until here? Can I move forward? This is very important topic, guys. Please, if you have anything, let me know so I can explain you again and again, because this is the basic thing you have to understand when you are trying to create a storage account. Yes, Hari.
Why not? Why only three? Why not five or four? And also, if you say Australia zone,
Yes.
uh, would it be within Australia geographical limits, or can it also be in Japan or South Korea or something? That is
Yeah.
like in
That's
the
a
same
good
time.
question. Let me move forward on the presentation, and you will have the understanding, because we
Okay.
have a yeah. Okay, let us move forward. So what happens is now geo redundant storage is also another option now. So what happens here is there is two regions, US East, which a typical example for to the answer to your question, and the second thing also is there is a typical example. I have selected US East. I have selected this time rather than US Central. I have selected Australia this time. These are two different parts of the world. So what happens when I adopt for GRS technique is it will copy your data three times within the single physical location in the primary region. This is my primary region, which is East US, which I have selected. Now it then copies your data asynchronously to a single physical location in the secondary region. This is my secondary region. This data is getting replicated in my secondary region. Okay. Now, within the secondary region, again, your data is copied three times using LRS. So what happens in simple English is I have chosen, maybe the question of Hari was valid because maybe I have chosen only Australia. Something happened there. Maybe why not choosing South Korea, or maybe why not choosing Japan, India, whatever it is. So what happened when I choose geo redundant storage? I will have the option of we will not have the option, but we will have the option to select the region. We will have the option to select which kind of region we are going to deploy the data storage account. So I have chosen East US. So and I have chosen the option of redundancy as GRS. So what happens is my first location, which is the US East US, what will it do when I upload a file? It will copy three copies of that file, and it will replicate the same file into one more region, not data center this time, because in the same region we have different data centers. But now we are going for a different region itself this time. In that region, based upon the availability of the region or whatever the backend processing Microsoft Azure does, then my storage account along with my the data will get replicated using LRS. LRS is the first thing which we discussed, low redundant storage, which is to copy your file into into three times. Single file, it is copied into three times. So let us say something happened today in the US. Again, because nothing happened in the Australia, you will be able to pull up your data from that region. So this is the third option which we get when we are trying to create a storage account. Hope this answers your question, Harish.
Yes.
Yeah. Now the last one we have is geo zone redundant storage, which is a very uh, different. I mean, a very high level availability when the businesses are looking for higher availability. Like, let's imagine the online gaming platform. They want. They will not use the storage account, of course, but they want their services to be intact. They cannot they cannot imagine losing any one customer also because the services went down. We see very rare case scenarios. So such kind of businesses are available. Also the banking sector, they need the services up and running 24/7. So it doesn't matter if you there is a problem with your storage account or what. So let us understand what is geo zone redundant storage. So what happens here is, whenever you create a storage account, and I'm choosing my primary region, this time Europe. So what happens is, copies your data across the Azure availability zones in the primary region using ZRS, not LRS. Just understand, ZRS is the same thing which we discussed here. What is ZRS? ZRS is, in the primary region, it will copy my storage account into three different available zones. So every data center has its own power, its own cooling, its own networking. Now, when I go for geo zone redundant storage, it will copy the data in the primary location using the technique ZRS, where this is one data center. Sorry, this is one data center, copy one, data center two, copy two, data center three, copy three. So already your data is so much safe. Okay. But on top of that, what happens is, it then copies your data asynchronously to a single physical location in the secondary region. Now, the same data is getting copied into one more location, and within the secondary region, your data copies synchronously three times using LRS. So when using this technique, the geo zone redundant storage, whenever I upload one file, what happens is, the same file goes and stores into three data centers, firstly, and then it gets a copy in another region in another data center, and in that second region, what happens is, it will make itself three copies: one, two, three. So that is the reason, when we are choosing the storage account redundancy options, we have to be very careful with what kind of data we are using, because these all services are not cheap. The cheapest one is the LRS. The cheapest one is the LRS, and the basic one, which we get from the Microsoft Azure. Apart from this, whatever you use, because they are also providing resources, they also have to maintain resources. So these are a bit costly than the cheapest option of LRS. Any questions here, for any doubts or something? What is LRS, or what is ZRS, or GRS, or GZRS? So this is one of the asked interview questions. I hope you understood. If not, I can take a 10-minute or 5-minute extended session also, because this is the basic thing you need to understand whenever you are trying to load the data, how your data is going and replicating itself using these techniques in the backend. Where the data is getting stored in the data center, how many copies it is stored, this many copies, how many regions it is using based upon our technique. Got it? Any questions? Just take a breath of 1 or 2 minutes and just think. If you get any questions, just let me know. If you did not understand, also I can go back and I can give back the presentation again. So no issues. Just take a you breathe and let me know. Awesome. No questions. Then please go through the recording sessions, and that's it for today, guys. Like we have what are we have covered is today we created a storage and we understood types of the data. I mean types of the files that are being used, and we have uploaded a file into our blob storage, and creation of the blob storage also we have seen, and we understood how the data gets replicated in the backend by different options by provided by the Azure. So second session, and hopefully you people are grabbing it very good. But if any, in any case, people who are coming from different backgrounds and are trying to having facing any difficulties when you are trying to understand some things, you can ask me, and you can connect a 15 minute before the session, and I can take a one-on-one as well to just make you understand uh, the things we are trying to learn here. So your learning is also important rather than only my teaching. So please go through the recording session. Let me stop the recording.